Hey guys, welcome to 5 beginner tips for Eternal Return in 2023. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and let's get into it. Use community made save plans. Simple enough, right? Most if not all the plans tell you how to path, what items to build, and what to transition to for late game items, as well as letting you know the skill order. So for example, if I go to Linux, one of my mains, I click and then click search save plans, click on the whip. They give me a bunch of different save plans made by the community. They show augments, your tactical skill, the map where you're supposed to path. So in this case, be pathing from factory, cemetery, pond, and for some of them, they don't show skill leveling, but some do. So that is the downside, depending on the person that make the plan. Sometimes they'll leave things out, whether that be skill leveling, late game items, or just coming up with a funky augment build. But that happens. Also, do make sure you pick the right plan for how you like playing, because there are different playstyles depending on the weapon you choose for certain characters. For example, Nadine has a crit build and a sealant build, depending on whether she's using her crossbow or the normal bow. So depending on whether you like one-shotting characters with your Q, or you like hiding around, hitting people for high damage numbers with crits, pick the version that you want to play with. You can also find the save plans in the start menu of the game, which I'll show you here right now. See, if you select a character, in this case it'll be Debbie and Marlene, you can see that I have my main save plan, but if I click on the down drop arrow, it gives me recommended save plans by the players that I can quickly select, see the pathing for. And if you click team save plans, you can see where your team is pathing towards as well. It's very useful information. If you need a site that shows you all the ins and outs of a character, dak.gg is the place to go. No, this isn't sponsored, but I do come to this site when I want to play a new character and I'm trying to find the best build for them. So if you were looking for a site where you can find all the information when it comes to character builds, dak.gg is where to go. I'll have it linked in the description if you guys want to check it out. But as you can see here, if you go to guides, characters, you can see almost every character, well, not almost, every character in the game. You can see their win rates, pick rates, average rank and average kills, as well as augments, skill orders, and their builds. So once again, if you want to check out dak.gg, I'll have it linked in the description. I highly recommend this site if you're looking for the best builds, best pick rate characters. This site's where you want to go. Tip number 2, understand pathing and general rules when looking for items. So we've all been there when we've been stuck on an item, or it's night 2 and we start lining even full build and we're getting one shot by other players. If you press tab, you can see your pathing in order from 1 to 4, and if you just follow the path listed and use teleporters in the certain zones, you can finish your build before day 1 ends or even when night 1 begins. Now understand, besides looking for items, the game has become nice to the player by allowing them to buy items that they need for their builds. If you right click an item in the top right, you can buy any item you're struggling to find. A general rule of thumb for pathing to full build is to not stay in the same zone for longer than 15 to 20 seconds just looking for one item. If you found everything else, just buy the one you're missing so you don't fall behind, and try and get in the habit of crafting while you're looting. What do I mean? Well, when you open a crate, press the craft button so that you're crafting while looking through crates so that you cut down on the time it takes to complete your build. Once you've completed your build, get to farming those mobs and don't overlook bats. Bats have a chance to drop you cameras, and if you manage to get a binocular as well, you can craft 2 telephoto cameras which provide you vital vision around a zone as long as you lay them down. Speaking of vision, in each zone, there are CCTVs that you can activate that give you set vision in certain parts of the zone, allowing you to have it drop on your opponent. Now you and opposing teams can contest vision by activating the CCTV, therefore denying vision for you or the enemy teams. You can also tell if enemies have vision of you by looking out for these cameras that are set in the zones. If they're green, you have vision. Red means the enemy has vision of you, and if there's no color at all, that means no one has vision. Now let's move on to tip number 3. Contest objectives. Now, I know this seems like an obvious one, but I would not be able to tell you how many players I've seen not contest Wiccaline, Battle Zones, or Alpha and Omega when it saves you credits from having to buy a Meteorite, Tree of Life, or even a Mithril from the kiosk. Don't let other players get it for free. Make sure you're giving them a tough time grabbing those so you can give yourself a chance to either get it yourself or get some levels into your weapon mastery. And this moves on into number 4. Character mastery. Press V, you'll be able to see all the information you need in regards of yourself. You can see the mastery, what you're building into, and even your skill, your F skill. If you press tab before you enter a fight, you'll see a lot of numbers. Just pay attention to the first one. That's your weapon mastery. Now, to put things simply, it basically tells you whether or not you can take a fight. If your team's weapon level average is around 9, while the enemy team's is 11 or 12, you're going to have a hard time winning the fight. It won't be impossible, but you're going to be playing from the weak side. Now, if you're at level 9 while the opponent is at 14, I would suggest get running and start farming camps. Now, back to our previous point. If the team you're trying to contest has a weapon mastery that is higher than yours by a larger margin, just poke around them and run. You don't need a full-on engage, but just making them take damage from those larger objectives can change the course of a fight, considering Alpha and Omega and even Wiccaline do a lot of damage. Now, tip number 5. This is the most vital tip. Find a character you enjoy playing. Remember, this is a video game, so make sure you have fun, and don't be scared to playtest the wide variety of characters this game has to offer. Enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you on the island.